guys, welcome back to my channel. I have missed you all. We've missed a couple of weeks of uploads, but that is all right because we're back. If you are interested in learning how to sell on Amazon, I encourage you to check out the other videos on my channel. I talk all about Amazon FBA and how to get started selling products from China on Amazon. So if that's what you want to learn, this is the perfect place for you. In today's video, I'm going to pretend like I don't know anything about selling on Amazon, and I'm going to do a little bit of product research and you guys can come along with me. So if you are brand new to selling, this would be a great video for you. And with that being said, I would just say once again, guys, there are scammers in the comments and on all social media platforms who will try to impersonate me. Please don't ever send money via Zelle or Cash App, Venmo, any of those processors. If you ever are learning with me or you are purchasing a program or a class or anything from me, you will do so through a secure website. It will be through my website, learnwithabby.com, and not over some random like Zelle transaction. Okay, please, I want you guys to be safe and I don't want anyone to get scammed. With that being said, we are going to jump into this video, so go ahead and leave a like if you like it and subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. Okay, you guys, we are inside of my computer and of course we are using our trusty Helium 10 tool. If you have never heard of Helium 10 before, it is an amazing software that helps you find products to sell on Amazon. It can help you make your listing, it can help you track your keywords. It does lots of different things, but for the purposes of being a beginner, mainly what we're going to use it for is product research. And so if you've never tried Helium 10 out before, I do have a link for you in the description, and I do have a discount code as well for you guys to try it out for free, and then you'll be able to go ahead and use the software. So that's what you're going to be looking at, and I will explain what all of the different tabs mean. Well, the ones that we care about, I'll tell you what those ones mean as we go through. But again, this is Helium 10. There's a website and there's also a Google Chrome extension that you can download as well. Again, that link is in my bio, so go ahead and check it out. Make sure you get it for the best price by using the discount code or the link. So that being said, we're going to go here up top to this tab that says tools. I already clicked on that button only because I've got some other personal information on the homepage that I don't want to share. So you go ahead and click on tools and then you click on black box, and that's going to pull up the page that we are looking at now. It's going to default to this specific setting that we're seeing, which is products, but you can also search for products with the black box tool using the keywords tab, competitors, niche, product targeting. It's completely up to you, but I find myself mostly using products or keywords. That's how I'm comfortable doing my product research. So as you can see here, it is giving you the simple view of how to kind of get started. You can toggle to go to advanced, but for now I'm just going to keep it at simple because we don't know anything, am I right? So let's start with the simple version. So what it says here is answer these questions to find a product, and the question says, I want to sell a product. It's more of a prompt than a question, but I want to sell a product in the blank marketplace. So for us and for anyone who's watching this video, even if you are in Zimbabwe, even if you are in Cambodia, even if you are in Berlin or whatever country or city across the world, you want to be selling on the US marketplace. And that is because Amazon is an American company and the US marketplace is the biggest one. That's where you're going to have the most customers. When I say most customers, I mean like tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of customers who use Amazon and are Amazon Prime members. So what you're going to want to do is go ahead and sell your products on the US marketplace regardless of where you are. And this is actually very simple because your products are going to be made elsewhere anyway, right? The majority of products that I sell, well, all the products I sell and the majority of my students are all made in China. So if the products are made in China anyway, and you're in some country in the middle of nowhere, it doesn't matter because the products are never coming to you as a person anyway. They're going to be made with your supplier, most likely in China, and then sent directly to the Amazon fulfillment center. So I want to encourage you, no matter where you are, start on the US marketplace. That is where you'll have the most opportunity to make money. And then from there, you can go ahead and expand out if you want to try selling on the marketplace for your home country, if you want to try selling on Amazon Canada, Mexico, UK, whatever you want to do. You start where it matters, the US, and then you're going to go out. When I say where it matters, I just mean where there's the most customers. So the opportunity to make the most money. All right, so that's that. So I'm going to leave it at the default where it says amazon.com, but for future reference, when you're looking for other marketplaces, you can have the option for all of these different markets. So there's tons, but let's leave it at US for now. It might seem like I'm over explaining if you already know how to use Helium 10, so bear with me for the beginners who have no idea. Let's go slow so that they can understand what we're talking about. No Amazon student left behind, am I right? So let's keep on going here. Now we're going to be able to select the categories. So there's tons of different categories, including appliances, arts, crafts, and sewing, automotive, baby products, beauty and personal care, books, camera and photo, CDs and vinyl, cell phones and accessories, clothing, electronics, grocery, health and household, my favorite category because that's where I sell, kitchen and dining, movies and TV, so on and so forth. I'm not going to list them all, but you can see them here. One thing that I like to do is I will switch around the way that I search for products. So sometimes I'll go ahead and I'll search for multiple categories in one search, or sometimes I'll only pick one or two categories so that I can see products that are all similar to one another. So for the purposes of this exercise, let's go ahead and only select two. So we're going to do home and kitchen, and we're going to do kitchen and dining because those are similar categories. So I'm going to limit it a little bit so that we have a more targeted population of products that we're going to see. I don't want to see all types of random products. Let's just see ones in these two categories. And then it's going to ask what type of improvement range. So do we want a product that could use a lot of improvement, or a product that's pretty good already and doesn't need a lot of improvement? For me, I like to click a lot of improvement because I want a product where I can come in, differentiate the product, make it better, and then when I start selling my product, I'll get a lot more customers because I've improved upon something that everyone is complaining about in the reviews. So that is something that I always click on. And then we go to where the competition is, and then in the competition range. Do we want to sell a product where there is low competition, medium competition, or high competition? I like to look for products with low competition. I find that it's easier to launch a product as a beginner when the competition is low, right? When you have more resources, let's say more money to put towards your ads, or you're just more seasoned, you have a better understanding of Amazon, then you have more flexibility to go after those more competitive products because you understand how it works. But when you're first starting out, you don't want to make things harder on yourself than it needs to be. So I encourage you to click on low competition so that you can find products that you would have a chance of being able to come in and start selling without too much of a problem. And then lastly, we have two more prompts. I want to sell my product for blank price range. So what type of price range are you looking for? Here, I would also encourage you to put $0 to $30, maybe $30 to $100 if you have a bigger budget. But for most beginners, you're working with a more modest budget. So you don't want a product that sells for too much, only because in order to purchase a product that sells for, let's call it $100 plus, you're going to have to spend a lot more money. So you might be spending $20 to buy that product to then sell for $100, which yes, you would make money, but you would also need to spend a lot of money to buy that initial inventory, which is why I recommend that when you're looking for products to sell, that product should cost no more than $5 a unit so that you're not overspending on that initial product. You're starting small, you're starting with something that is reasonably priced, and then as you grow your business and as you scale, you can go ahead and explore a little bit more with more expensive products. Once you have the capital, you have the cash coming in, you can be a little bit more liberal. But in the beginning, you want to be conservative with how much money you're spending on your product. And then last but not least, it's asking with a monthly revenue of blank. So how much money do you want this product to be making every month on Amazon? Keep in mind that revenue is not profit. So when we're saying revenue, that's just how much money these products are making in sales. That is not how much money they are making in profit. And the difference is the profit is how much is actually going to the seller, the person who is selling the product. What are they getting in their bank account after all is said and done, after the fees are paid, after the ads are accounted for? How much are they making after the fact? This is telling us revenue. How much are they making in sheer sales? And it's important to know the difference between those two things, because if we're looking at a product with a revenue of $0 to $1,000, that means that the profit, let's call the profit 25%. That means if they're making $1,000, in revenue, their profit is really only going to be $250, which is not bad. That's 25% of 100, but it's not going to be a life-changing amount of money. So we want to find something that is somewhere in the middle, not overdoing it with something that is making too much money, because then you're going to have the inventory to sustain that, but also something that makes enough that it will be worth the effort, worth the time, worth the energy and the money, right? So here with a monthly revenue, I honestly would never pick the first option. $0 to $1,000 is just not worth it. You could click $1,000 to $10,000, but for me, I'm going to do $10,000 plus. And I'm doing that because I want to leave room so that my profits are healthy. So with the $10,000 scenario, if you are making a profit of 25%, that's a $2,500 profit that you're making. And that is, for a lot of people, a life-changing amount of money. I know when I started making that much back in 2019, when I started my business, it changed my life. I mean, I was like 25 at the time, 24, 25, and I had never been able to make that much money with that little amount of work. And so it was life-changing for me. And obviously my business has grown tremendously over time to the tune of 7 figures plus a year, but I had to start somewhere. So I think $10,000 plus is a good option. And then you can go ahead and click on search. Once again, you can do the advanced option, but we'll save that for another video. And then what Helium 10 is going to do is it's going to generate products that match the criteria that I input. So right now it's going to give me products that are in that range and in those categories that I selected. So as you can see up top, categories: home and kitchen, kitchen and dining. For review count, it's review count less than 200, which I really like, because if you have watched any of my other videos, or if you're a part of my program, follow me on Instagram or whatever, you know that I always talk about low competition. And to me, low competition is 0 to 200 reviews on average. Anything more than that starts to become more and more competitive. And so I like that it defaults when we click low competition to 200 or less reviews. That matches up perfectly with my own teachings and my own criteria. So me and Helium 10 are like right here with it. And then next we have reviews being less than 3.5. So remember how we were looking at that range that was talking about improvement, how much improvement can the product use? We said we want something with a lot of improvement. And so it's showing us products where the review count or the rating is 3.5 or less stars, right? So if it was a product that had a 5-star average or 4.5, that means that there's not a lot of room for improvement because the reviews are already stellar. But when the reviews are in the 3.5 range, that means that there are things that people obviously dislike about the product, and that gives you room for differentiation and room for improvement. And then lastly, it just has the revenue. So I wanted to just explain a little bit why you're seeing those things up there. They were describing it so that they could give products that fit these specific metrics when it comes to numbers. So instead of asking you, do you want a review rating 3.5, 4.5, or 5? They described it and said how much improvement does it need. So I want you to understand the reasons that we're putting in these numbers, why we're making the selections that we are, is because we're brand new to selling on Amazon. We don't want to spend too much money. We don't want a product that is too competitive, and we don't want something that is already pretty close to perfect, because we're not going to be able to differentiate and make it better. And so we're not really going to be competitive when we launch the product. So I hope all of this is making sense. If something is not, leave a question in the comments. I'll try my best to answer as many as I can, but I really want you to understand and not just like follow the steps that I'm saying without knowing why I'm saying it. I think one of the reasons that I found a lot of success in business is that I've always tried my best to understand as much as I can about how the business works so that I can do it with my eyes closed. And I mean, really at this point, that's how it feels, but it took practice to get here. So I want you guys to start understanding, you know, kind of the ins and outs of the business a little bit, so that you're not just following blindly. And when you know, see other content and other people making recommendations recommendations, you can think for yourself and say, okay, this person is telling me that I should be finding products that have reviews that are 500 or less or 1,000 or less. You can think back to this video and say, oh wait, she said it should be lower reviews because that is what indicates the competition, right? So I want you to be able to be critical thinkers as it relates to running your Amazon business. So all of that being said, let's go ahead and scroll and see what types of products are generating here. We've got a lot of, I knew that it would lean more towards furniture with this category because we did include home and kitchen. So I'm not really surprised that we see things for bedding, we see things for patio furniture, air conditioners, drawers. I'm kind of skipping over the items that are going to be large and heavy right off the top. Like, I'm not selling anything that's going to be oversized. I'm not selling anything that's going to be too heavy because that will cost me more money in shipping, and that's going to make it more expensive for me to source the product. And the more expensive it is to source the product, theoretically, the smaller and smaller my profit margins are going to look. And so just as a seasoned Amazon seller, I already know that I'm not looking at patio furniture. I'm not trying to sell something that's going to come in a giant box and cost me $1 bajillion to ship from China because I want to make money. I'm not here to just put all of this money into expensive products that are not going to be profitable. Let's keep on going here. We've got, slushy maker. That one's interesting, but I don't like electronics, so we're gonna skip over that. We've got sofas, we've got coffee tables, a wireless vacuum cleaner. We've got nightstands, we've got garage cabinets, we've got bookshelves. So I'm just looking for something that looks interesting to me. None of these are doing it for me at this moment, but let's go ahead and keep on scrolling. We've got a vanity set. We've got more vanity sets. Let's see what else. Scroll to the next page and see what we've got here. Area rugs. We've got storage options, more cabinets. These are not products that I personally would want to sell. This might be interesting. So this says shampoo dispenser wall mount. And I actually have one of these in my bathroom that's like soap dispensers, shampoo dispensers, so you don't have to have the bottles in there if you don't want to. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this listing in, page not found. So maybe they took their listing down here. Yeah, looks like their listing is gone, but that's totally fine because really what we care about is the product itself. So it's the shampoo dispenser wall mount. So since the product is not showing up on Amazon, I'm gonna actually just type in the keyword on Amazon. So shampoo dispenser. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that. And it looks like the reviews are pretty high. Right off of the bat, I can see. But I didn't put wall mount either. I just put shampoo dispenser. And just real quick before I move on, so that you know what you're looking at, I do already have the Helium 10 Google Chrome extension downloaded on my computer. So that's why there's all of this like random information that you probably have never seen before, because the software is generating all of this data for me to look at. And it's kind of just giving me different results here, and it's giving me a summary of this niche in general. And basically it's talking about the 30-day revenue, how many units have been sold, a bunch of other information here. So I can click on show full summary so I can see more data. So I'll just go ahead and click on it right now. I like that it gives you just a quick view of what is going on. So it's telling me that the 30-day revenue for shampoo dispenser as a keyword is $1.3 million. The average revenue per seller is $28,000 per month. The average units sold, or the 30-day units sold cumulatively, is 50,810. And then the average units sold per seller on this first page is $1,000, or I'm sorry, 1,000 units. So basically that's what you're seeing. I'm not going to go through every single thing here, but it's just giving a lot of qualitative data to let you know what is going on within this niche. So I like that. It's giving you the revenue breakdown by product. So basically you can see which products are making the most money, and it gives you even a nice little graph here. It shows you which listing is doing the majority of the numbers. Like this one, for example, has basically a 16% market share, or share of the profits here, or of the revenue here. So if the 30-day revenue is 1.3 million, this listing here is doing 221,000 of that 1.3 million. So they're one of the top sellers here. And it looks like there's one other that is doing better than them, 21% share, and their revenue is 285,000 out of the 1.3 million. So I really like looking at this because it just gives you a breakdown of who's doing the bigger numbers. There is another way that you can look at this as a chart instead of looking at it like a little, it's not a pie graph, but you see what I'm talking about, that little circle. But I like this for people who are more visual learners instead of just having to look at charts all day. But with that being said, now that we have an idea of what is going on here, we can use another tool with Helium 10. This one is called the X-ray tool. And what you can do is click on X-ray, and it will give you a lot of data to show you what's going on as well. So before, when we were looking at who had more of that little circle chart, we can look at it this way instead. So I'm going to go to revenue and click on it 2 times. When I click on it once, it goes low to high. When I click on it 2 times, it goes high to low. So remember how we were looking, and that one had 285,000. That is this listing right here. And then the other one that had 220,000, that was this listing right here. So instead of looking at it as an image, we're more so looking at it in a different way. So whether or not you are a visual learner or you're someone who likes to just look at numbers more, you have different options for viewing the data. So that's another great thing about Helium 10. Now we can see the average reviews is 2,300. So before, when we put reviews less than 200, that was telling us for that specific product. The one that didn't pull up before, that one had less than 200. But now we're looking at shampoo dispenser as a keyword. So the average reviews for this keyword is almost 2,400, which is way too high. Remember, we said 200 or less. So with that being said, we are getting results for shampoo dispensers that go onto the wall, or that can be mounted onto the wall. So the ones that are not wall mounted, those ones can be removed from the results. So that one, for example, we can remove it and it brings down the average reviews. So that is something that I always do when I'm looking at my data. I remove the results that are not relevant to the product I'm trying to sell. So if I'm trying to sell one that is mounted on the wall and the results are showing me ones that are not wall mounted, I can remove those so that I get a more accurate depiction of the amount of competition, right? We don't want products that don't belong there messing up the numbers. So that's what I'm going to say there. I know that I'm giving y'all a lot of info, especially if this is your first time seeing it. So don't worry if this seems a little bit involved and a little bit complex. I promise you, the more you play around with the data, the more that you look at these numbers, the more that you search for products, the easier and easier it will become to identify certain things. So now you're probably going to go through every single step. Let me pull up X-ray. Let me look and see what the numbers are. You're going to get to a point where you're going to search up a product and immediately you'll be able to tell, okay, this is something that has a little bit of potential, or this is something that's just not going to work, based off of the fact that the reviews are really high or the prices are really low, and you'll be able to pick up on things a lot more easily. So have faith, be consistent with your product research, and it will become easier and easier as time goes on. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video of me just doing a little bit of very, very basic product research. If you are starting out, don't be discouraged if this is a little bit much for you at this moment. I promise you it will become easier with time and the more that you practice and play around with these numbers. And it's all going to be worth it. If you spend the time right now making sure that you are doing your product research properly, you are going through the motions of looking at the numbers, really doing your homework, when when you launch that product, you're going to have such a good chance of having success with that product compared to someone who is just picking something randomly without even bothering to look at the numbers and the data. So you're setting yourself up for success by doing the hard part now of, proper product research rather than picking something random, launching it, and hoping that it does well. We don't hope around here. We plan, we execute, and we do things the right way. So I hope that this video helped you out. And if it did, again, I would appreciate a thumbs up and if you subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.